And welcome everyone to game number 3 of the MSL Code Silver Semifinals. We are here on Newkirk District, not Precinct. Precinct, there's a wolf right here, and there's ground. District, there's not, and there's a watchtower. But this, of course, is game number 3 in the epic series between this green Zerg player, who's so far 2-0 in this set, Bean, and his now random spawning opponent in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Blitz. 2 B names in the same match. So exciting. Not sure how that makes any difference. So Blitz spawning as Protoss again. Last time we saw the attempt at a gateway expand. We saw a Zergling run by that actually put him a little bit behind early on in the game. And then from then on, he actually fought from behind, and he actually did pretty well right until that huge critical number of mutas came out. It looks like, are we going to get a cannon rush? We could get a cannon rush. Heart of the Swarm, though, pylons don't give energy up to the high ground. This is something really important to know if you're not familiar. So the fact that he's throwing down this cannon or this pylon here is actually a little bit telling. It means that he's not planning on expanding, although there is a gas going down as well. So this is a really confusing opening, and Bean is going ahead and scouting. If he does anything like we did last time, he's going to have, yeah, a giant loop-de-doo, and this drone, this is going to be here for forever. As one probe just will not catch it fast enough. You need to actually pull other probes off the line if you want to force it out of the base until you get something like a Stalker. Stalker means the end of scouting. We do see, my goodness, we see hatch gas. We're gonna have a pool anytime soon. We have enough money for a pool. Are we gonna? There we go. So now I have a pool, and we have gas. Interesting timing. That'll delay his queens and his other units, but that could mean that he's gonna go for another bust, or actually attempt an actual bust. Last time he had a little bust against 3 zealots forming the wall. And it did work, and he got some additional kills, actually. Quite a bit happened from that, so maybe that's what he's going to be attempting at this time. We'll go ahead and see. Also, I want to, apologize a little bit for how tardy I've been in casting these games. Turns out there's lots of games in all of these tournaments, and I have a real job. I have to, work for a living. It's brutal. I don't know if anyone else has to do that. But, the other thing that's happened is my computer, the motherboard, decided to die, so it took a dump, and so I had to do the troubleshooting and get that repaired. Got a new one. Well, it's not actually. Long story. I have a computer that's now working, and now, because that motherboard had an upgrade path, I decided to go ahead and treat myself to a new processor, and I feel quite cool. Because last time, usually when I was commentating and doing stuff like that, it was hitting about 92% CPU load for the entire series, or as long as I was casting. And now, with my cool new processor, it's much lower. It's right about 20 to 30% load, which is awesome. Also, because I'm a giant nerd, I'm into overclocking, and I just wanted to tell the entire world that so far I'm sitting at a 1 gigahertz overclock. So it's a 3.5 gigahertz processor, currently sitting at 4.5. And because I'm a nerd, that's awesome. So, fast gas. So, almost exactly the right number of gas. Usually what you'll see is the pool and then the gas, and then 100 gas, and then stopping. This was a little bit faster, so we're going to have ling speed here really soon, and the ling's finishing up just about when speed hit for the lings. But there's not a lot of surface area to go ahead and attack with. So this zealot is in a good place, much smaller wall than last time. Good job. Actually would have liked to have seen this gateway right here, and then the zealot stands right there. We do have a whole bunch of ranged units coming out, which could be really, really good for Blitz, especially if all those lings come over, but instead it looks like they're not, and a roach horn's going down, and we see an Evo chamber and a spine crawler. So a little bit all over the place from Bean, but as he's 2 up in the series, I'm not sure I can really give tons and tons of feedback. 8 more drones, though, behind us, so it looks like this is an attempt to throw Blitz off. It's not really a committed attack. Oh, this could be poor. This could be bad. If he force fields... No, no, no! He's gonna get a run by! He's gonna get a run by! Come in! Come back! Come back! Okay, all of these units need to get together. If they're together, they stand a fighting chance. If they're not... Oh, it looks like that Stalker is gonna be caught. The Zealot here is also gonna be... Okay, forced out a force field. That doesn't seem like a lot, but forcing out force fields from your opponent is actually a huge deal. As sentries are an essential component to what I call cutesy defenses, which is things... Ooh, we do see a whole bunch of warpins over here. But sentries, they need to have energy to be useful, because otherwise they just tickle opponents. That's basically what they do, is they make them giggle, and eventually they'll die. And a ninja expansion, nice. And cutesy defenses and cutesy attacks rely on units that are high-tech, and not so much beefy. Force field, not the greatest force field. And it looks like he's going to go straight for the pylon, and it looks like he won't get it. It does get very close, so it was a valiant effort, and now there's a little bit of pressure up here. And Bean's got to figure out how he's going to hold on to this. He's going to throw down 3 more spine crawlers. There are some additional roaches here, but I do think this army should actually be able to take them out if he micros correctly. He's trying to make sure he takes care of all of those spine crawlers before they finish up, as he does not want to deal with that. These Stalkers not contributing their DPS in any way, shape, or form to anything useful. They're taking out Overlords, but the Overlords are not actually important right now. He's not supply blocked at all, and now these Stalkers not going to be able to get much done. The Sentry goes down when it's not full energy, but when it has energy, and now you can shoot from the high ground. That's gotta suck. So this attack's going to be drawing to a conclusion here pretty quick. The Zealots here should help add a little bit of staying power against these Lings, because he's going to take out a lot of them, because Zealots are quite good against Lings. But this does get shut down. Excellent defense here, and it looks like things have stabilized. I can handle that. I can handle some stabilization. So, something else I want to point out, anytime you're playing a Zerg player, they, like I've said before, they just want to sit back and drone. And if they don't know that that's what they're supposed to be doing, then they might not be winning. But basically they want to build drones for the first like 10 minutes of the game. That's what they want to do. But if you go, and even if you threaten to put down aggression, and even if it never comes, and like even if you don't actually do a huge attack, you just put some units in their range, they're forced to make units to defend, and any units that are, any larvae that are units instead of drones is a win. That's another non-drone unit, because Zerg have to worry about the unit known as the larva. He's going to try to expand here, and this is just not going to end up working. This could actually be a run-by. There could be a run-by here. There could be, in fact, it probably is going to be a run-by now, because there's nothing up here to defend. Some sentries? No? No sentries? No stock? No sentries. There's no sentries. A sentry could have saved him, but now there's no sentries, and I think this game could be over right now. The Zealots here getting a good number of kills, but with nothing to defend them, this looks like this could go really poorly. There's continued production of Zerglings behind this, and it looks like Bean could very quickly take this game. He needs to go throw down a Photon Overcharge here. He really does. He needs to discourage these Lings from coming any closer. And now, okay, Lings versus Probes. With Photon Overcharge, they actually do okay. Yeah, Photon Overcharge, allowing him to stay in this a little bit longer, but behind this, we have a lot more units, and with those depowered gateways, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold that. He does have another Photon Overcharge in him. I would actually completely wall this off at this point in time. That is what I would do. And now there are actually gateways over here. Oh, you needed to wall that off. They're just going to walk right in, and that's so sad. The Mothership Core, they sound really scary, but they actually don't do damage. They kind of tickle. Bam. So getting that other pylon, that's going to be really frustrating as... okay, he still can't warp in, so he's not going to go down at this particular juncture, but with 24 more Lings on the way, plus 2 started, Glial Reconstitution is on its way. Looks like we're going to see continued aggression from Bean here as Blitz is really trying to get himself back into this game. I think at this point I would complete this wall. I would throw it on a Forge. This is actually a good choice too, actually. Mothership Core, keep adding DPS. Now you're out of place. The Zealots not forming a wall again. That's so frustrating. Once the Zerglings get a good surface area on the opponent's units, it's pretty much game over for those units. But if they can't get that surface area, Zerglings have to be right up on top of them, and so it's almost impossible. If you can choke down the Zerglings, you can do much better against them. Another Photon Overcharge. This could help save it. These other warp gates, are they being used? I don't know if he's warping in. Right now I just see warp-ins from one warp gate's worth of, or one base worth of warp gates. The Photon Overcharge, I think, is contributing. I don't think it's going to be able to clean up all of this. He needs some additional reinforcements, although most of the workers have been killed. And so now, keep in mind, Bean doesn't know this other base even exists. Where is it? Yeah, doesn't even know that that exists. So now he thinks he's got all of his production taken offline and all of his workers killed. So he's confused why his opponent's not left the game. He has been spotting for additional bases. 22 more Lings on the way. Although when you're up by triple the number of workers, that does actually make sense, in my opinion. Remember, the Mothership Core doesn't actually do damage. It just kind of slowly tickles, especially against this number of units when it can't shoot the same thing. The Zergling's getting great surface area and going to take these buildings down very quickly, as they are now 2-1. And are we going to see, where are they going? No, they're not. He's just going to go take everything out. He thinks his opponent's being so bad-mannered. This is actually a bit funny. And now some Lings are actually going to go ahead and scout, trying to figure out what's going on. And he runs straight into another base. The Ninja expansion paying off. Another Photon Overcharge being thrown down. I think that one was a little bit preemptive, as now he doesn't have another one, and these only last for 60 seconds. By the time these Lings get here, it will actually have expired, and then the Photon Overcharge won't be able to participate. It's so sad. He needs more Zealots. He needs tons of Zealots against this number of Lings. Stalkers, not that great. So all the Zealots. Just keep making tons and tons of Zealots. Also, I would be trying to make walls so then the Zerglings can't get in. He does have charge on all of these Zealots, which is pretty important, but they're 0-0, which is a huge thing, because now they take 3 kills to kill a Zergling, 3 attacks, because they have +1 Carapace. And behind this, wow, I've been focusing on the aggression for so long, we do have Bean all the way up to a Hive. And because he has a Hive, he can have Swarm Host. And because he has Swarm Host, he can have Locusts. Because he can have Locusts, he can actually win the game without losing anything, if he so desires, because Swarm Host's pretty good as an offensive unit, terrible, terrible, terrible as a defensive unit. Basically, Swarm Hosts, they work really well as long as they have supporting army or something else, because as soon as the wave of Locust is killed off, they are totally vulnerable. So it's really painful to watch them die, as they're super expensive. And does he see him? He doesn't see him. This could have been really bad. Some Lings, gonna clean up everything else over here. And now we do have a little bit more of a wall. There, we see the wall coming up. These Locusts gonna expire before they get a chance to do anything. There is no Enduring Locust upgrade as of yet. Where is the Infestation Pit? Yeah, it has not been researched. And once again, Locust not doing anything. Remember, free units should always try to be used, even if they're not effective, then they paid for themselves. If you get any damage done, it's totally worth it. So, stabilized, we have charge done. We don't have much other tech. It seems like Blitz is a little bit focused on, staying alive. Mothership Core, not a bad idea, but it looks like this engagement is going to be really one-sided, as the Zerglings get a huge surround, and with the Locusts and with the Swarm Hosts, Blitz decides to tap out now, as he realizes that it's would be very unlikely if he could actually continue on in this game. So it looks like Bean's going to take this first set of semifinals from Blitz, and he is going on to the winners bracket round, the winners bracket finals here in the MSL Code Silver. So overall, I would say that the players were relatively evenly matched in terms of their basic unit control. I feel like a lot of positioning things ended up being what cost Blitz most of these games. And I feel that's kind of how I feel. Is a lot of positioning, a lot of just stuff like that, where we had a wall that was like this instead of like this. So you weren't shooting them in a little choke. You were instead having this big area up here to also defend. The attack over here wasn't bad, but he focus fired down the overlords, which generally isn't a bad idea. But they're not really gonna hurt any of your units. All they can do is drop creep on them, and apparently that isn't even damaging. And so all the DPS of the Stalkers was wasted on these overlords that didn't end up supply blocking him. And that DPS was not applied to those few roaches, and once those few roaches were done, those few zealots were dead, the roaches became a big problem, and then the flood of zerglings without any roaches, or without any zealots to protect the stalkers, then that's when the aggression was forced to shut down. So just a little bit of decision making there. I would encourage you to maybe watch a couple of professional games, watch the unit placement of some of the pros, as that's really been beneficial to me. And that's my analysis, and I'm sticking to it. So thanks for watching, and we're going to be up here with the other semifinal games here